In the vast annals of unsolved mysteries, one name stands out for its sheer audacity and enduring intrigue: D.B. Cooper. Today, we unravel the tale of the only unsolved skyjacking in American history, a story of risk, mystery, and a disappearance that has puzzled the world for decades. Join us as we delve into the daring escape of D.B. Cooper. November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. A man dressed in a business suit, carrying a briefcase, boards Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 from Portland to Seattle. He's nondescript, middle-aged, and by all accounts entirely ordinary. Yet his actions would soon captivate the nation. Shortly after takeoff, the man who identified himself as Dan Cooper reveals his intentions.
Mid-flight, the unassuming man, later known as D.B. Cooper, makes his move. He hands a note to Florence Schaffner, a flight attendant. Initially, she assumes it's just a lonely businessman's phone number. But Cooper leans closer and whispers, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The flight attendant's eyes widen in shock as Cooper opens his briefcase just enough to reveal a menacing glimpse of wires and red sticks. Panic grips her, but she maintains her composure, realizing the safety of all aboard rests on her shoulders. With a composed urgency, Schaffner makes her way to the cockpit to relay the message. Cooper's demands are clear: $200,000 in $20 bills, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready in Seattle for a Mexico-bound flight. The stakes couldn't be higher. The pilot, William Scott, becomes the pivotal link between Cooper's demands and the authorities. Each message passed intensifies the situation as negotiations with the FBI kick into high gear. Time is of the essence, and every decision counts. As Flight 305 descends into the rainy night of Seattle, the airport transforms into a high-stakes negotiation ground. Emergency vehicles, police forces, and FBI agents encircle the tarmac, a silent testament to the gravity of the situation. Under the watchful eyes of law enforcement, the ransom, a bag filled with $200,000 and 4 parachutes, is brought to the plane. Cooper meticulously inspects the money and the parachutes, ensuring his escape plan is foolproof. With the plane refueled and Cooper's demands met, Flight 305 takes off once more, its destination unknown. Cooper's plan is in motion, and as the plane ascends into the stormy night, the next chapter of this daring escapade begins. After securing a $200,000 ransom and releasing all the passengers, Cooper's demands had only just begun. Cooper demanded the plane be flown to Mexico City, skimming the skies at the lowest possible speed without stalling, around 100 knots. He insisted on flying at a maximum altitude of 10,000 feet, with the landing gear fixed in the takeoff position, the wing flaps lowered to 15 degrees. His instructions to the pilot were clear and non-negotiable. These conditions were meticulously calculated. Cooper was planning something daring, something no hijacker had ever attempted before. The air inside the cabin was tense. The crew, now under the thumb of Cooper's precise demands, the atmosphere was one of uncertainty. But Cooper remained calm, his plan clear in his mind. The Boeing 727 lifted off into the dark, rainy night, embarking on a flight into the unknown. With the plane flying low and slow, as per his meticulous demands, Cooper was poised to execute the final act of his daring escape. Cooper stood at the precipice, the money bag tied to his waist. The engines roared, a constant reminder of the thin line between bravery and folly. Cooper makes a bold request to have the aft air stair deployed. But how does one deploy an air stair from a Boeing 727, especially in flight? You see, the Boeing 727 was equipped with a rear staircase, a feature uncommon in modern aircraft. The staircase was stored within the tail cone of the aircraft, accessible from the inside. As the tension mounted aboard the hijacked Boeing, D.B. Cooper, cool and collected, approached Tina Mucklow. With a reassuring yet firm tone, he instructed her to enter the cockpit, citing a need to discuss an urgent matter with the pilots. "Miss Mucklow," Cooper began, "could you please accompany me to the cockpit? There are some details about the flight plan that I need to discuss with the pilots." Mucklow, sensing the seriousness in Cooper's demeanor, nodded and followed his lead, unaware of the true nature of his intentions. She trusted in his authority, assuming he needed assistance with a legitimate issue concerning the flight. Once she entered inside the cockpit, Cooper seized the moment, exploiting the brief distraction to carry out his plan. With swift and calculated movements, he accessed the rear air stair. Cooper knew that by depressurizing the cabin and slowing the aircraft to a certain speed, he could safely open the air stair door. Somewhere over the dense forests of Washington State, with a storm raging around him, D.B. Cooper does the unthinkable. He jumps, vanishing into the night, with $200,000 strapped to his waist. Cooper leaps into infamy and mystery. As news of Cooper's audacious escape spread, law enforcement agencies sprang into action.
Just another passenger who gave his name as D.A. Cooper, hijacking a Northwest Airlines jet, ransoming the passengers in Seattle, then making a getaway by parachute somewhere between there and Reno, Nevada.
The FBI, alongside local police, launched an extensive search operation. The dense forests of the Pacific Northwest became the stage for an intense manhunt. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into years. The FBI combed through thousands of leads and considered over 1,000 suspects. Yet, Cooper's true identity and fate remained as elusive as the night he disappeared.
Years later, a breakthrough. A young boy finds a decaying package of $20 bills on the banks of the Columbia River. The serial numbers match the ransom money. Yet this clue raises more questions than it answers. How did the money get there? And more importantly, where is D.B. Cooper? Over the years, theories about Cooper's fate have flourished. Did he survive the jump, or did the brutal wilderness claim him? Was he an experienced skydiver, a desperate criminal, or something else entirely? The 8-year-old boy who fawned the ransom money, the boy's name was Brian Ingram.
First break in the only unsolved airplane hijacking in United States history came on a Columbia River beach. 8-year-old.
After the money was examined, portions of it were eventually returned to Brian Ingram. Ingram later sold some of these notes at auction. In 2008, he auctioned off some of the bills he had received, which fetched over $37,000. Before we continue this story further, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more fascinating stories like this, please consider liking and subscribing. Remember, researching and producing videos like these takes a lot of time and effort, but your support makes it all worthwhile. Now let's get back to this crazy story. In the aviation history, few stories captivate the imagination quite like that of D.B. Cooper. The D.B. Cooper incident in 1971 had several significant impacts on the aviation industry, leading to changes in security procedures, aircraft design, and passenger screening protocols. Here are some of the key changes that occurred. Improved security measures. The hijacking brought attention to vulnerabilities in aircraft security, prompting airlines and aviation authorities to implement stricter security measures. This included the introduction of metal detectors, baggage screening, and armed air marshals on flights. Cockpit security. Following the D.B. Cooper incident, cockpit doors were reinforced and secured to prevent unauthorized access. Pilots were also trained to handle potential hijacking situations and communicate with ground control more effectively. Emergency exit regulations. The hijacking highlighted the need for better regulation of emergency exits on commercial aircraft. Airlines were required to ensure that emergency exit doors could not be opened during flight, preventing individuals from attempting similar hijackings. Overall, the D.B. Cooper incident had a profound impact on the aviation industry, leading to significant changes in security procedures, aircraft design, and to enhance safety and prevent future hijackings.
Thank you for watching, and I look forward to bringing you more intriguing content in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest mysteries and adventures.